Hi, I'm so excited to welcome you back to our visual arts community just for teachers like you, elementary art teachers in the state of Georgia. I'm Sarah Rising, the moderator for this group, and in this episode, we are going to explore the idea of teacher reflection journals. Often we ask our students to reflect on what they've learned, but imagine what would happen if we make this part of our regular teaching practice. So if you would, take a few minutes to watch the video attached and then participate in the discussion questions. I can't wait to hear your ideas, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates, posts, discussions, or any of the fun. This whole webinar is going to focus on ideas to streamline your teacher life. And like I mentioned, this one is going to be focusing on reflecting on your teaching practice. Wondering if any of you guys ever feel like this. I let the quality of the pieces my students create measure my success or failure as a teacher. And I can tell you firsthand that that happens to me. I wouldn't say it's often, but there are enough times where something that I had planned in the classroom doesn't quite turn out like I had planned. The kids aren't really that into it. And I do kind of let that negativity sink in and kind of get me down. So I don't know if any of you guys feel that way, but that happens to me sometimes. But I was thinking about this. What if you believed this instead? My students may not always create museum quality work, but I know the experiences I've provided allow them to express themselves, gain confidence, and build perseverance. Or what if we believe this? I understand that I cannot create student expectations or art assignments and expect that they will work for every group of students that I have. With that in mind, how can you work to control the choices you make as an educator, grow as a professional, and meet your goals and challenges head on? That would be self-reflection. So I'm inviting you guys to join me in a journey through art teacher reflective journals. And what I'm going to talk to you about for a little bit is the idea of creating a reflection journal. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a full-blown journal. I'm going to show you some options and walk you through some things that I've discovered. I've kind of summarized some of the readings that I've done to help me begin this journey. So I'm going to share that with you in this short little webinar. So if you're probably wondering if a reflection journal will help you, and as I mentioned, students are expected to take time to reflect on their learning. And then I also posed, what if we took the time each week to reflect on our work, learn from our successes, and grow from our mistakes? Could that help us become better teachers? Some really good reasons that I have come across to keep a reflection journal as a practice as art teachers is I think it helps us look at the big picture. It encourages personal growth. It helps you see your successes. It helps you see your mistakes as learning opportunities. That it can also help you face your challenges, identify goals and the outcome you desire, and it helps with personal reflections about teaching. So I've kind of put together, and guys, I am by no means an expert in this. This is just based on, like I said, the summary of what I've discovered reading articles online, talking to my administration, and talking to other art educators. So I've come up with the 3 C's, being choose an area for reflection, commit to the reflection process, and connect your conclusions. So I'm just going to walk you through these things, and then you guys can make your own decisions about what might work for you. So the first one is choose an area for reflection. So I think by narrowing this down, choose either a personal growth or an area of recording student learning. And this will become more clear as I go on from here. But for the personal growth, that would be if you are looking to improve in a certain area. And the record of student learning would be more reflective of the lessons that you use and how you would go on with those lessons in weeks and years to come. So the first thing you need to do is commit to the reflection process. It's one more thing you have to do. We all have our plates full. But what if by doing this, your growth and learning results in time savings? Wouldn't we all love a little more time? I know I would. So you have to allow yourself time to think. and allow yourself time to process. This journal has to be a habit. You have to set time aside, and we all know it, that we all fall victim to letting those things fall to the waysides. So what I'm committing to do is reflecting on Wednesdays and Fridays, and then really making that happen. How you do that is going to be up to you. You also want to connect your conclusions. So you've got to be honest in your reflections. This is for your personal growth. No one else is going to see it, so you don't have to sugarcoat anything. Focus on key points. Don't try to include every single thing. And backing up to where we talked about choosing your focus, whether it's going to be for personal growth or reflecting on student learning. Also, ask yourself what you can do to improve. Shift your focus if you have to, and then construct your own best way to teach. This last one, I think, is what I'm going to really focus on, because I am always looking for ways to be a better teacher for my kids. So how we're going to get started, these are a few ideas I've come across. They might help you too, but I'm going to try these, and I thought I'd share those with you. So the first one was 3 stars and a wish, and it came from Mrs. Artastic, and I've just linked her blog here. But she explains that 3 stars and a wish is where after you teach a lesson, you are going to reflect using this format. So after you do the teaching, you're going to reflect with 3 stars and a wish. So you're going to record 3 things that you did really well during your lesson or instructional time. These are your 3 stars. Then you're going to find 1 thing that you need to improve on, and that's going to be your wish. And lastly, you're going to think of a new way to improve on your lesson or your wish and implement that in your next lesson. So this could be done in a journal, that you have a dedicated journal, or you could make the notes in your lesson planner, whatever format you're using for this. We're trying to keep it simple and not have to take up a lot of your time. A lot of you may like to do it on a digital format. That's not my thing. I like to write everything in Doodle. So lots of options for that. Okay, the other idea is making a record of student learning. So one of the things comments I read was that Teacher Reflections brings together all of the important daily and yearly learning. So if you reflect on your students' learning experience, reflect on the results and the outcomes, also include your feelings about what happened and the variations between classes. As I mentioned in a previous webinar, all of our classes have different personalities. So you really want to take that into consideration. Where you might be able to do one thing with one class, you're going to have to be able to assess and adjust that same lesson for another class. So do make those notes to help keep you and help you remember that. Use what you have. This is an example. If you haven't had a chance to see these yet, these are our visual art lessons that are on the Georgia website. And you can make your reflections right in the margins of your lesson plans. And from year to year, when you use these lessons, or from day to day, just look at those notes and make those notes right inside there. If you have digital lesson plans, maybe make a section in your digital planner where you can have reflections and notes. I personally like to reflect in the margins. And then the other thing, again, this was from Mrs. Artastic. This is always a good one. Ask the kids. So after the instructional part of the lesson, and while students are working, you stop and ask a few of the kids about one thing they learned and if there was anything unclear in the lesson. Be honest and let them know that you're trying to improve teaching lessons and you want to demonstrate that you're a lifelong learner. So jot these ideas down and as part of your reflection to help you see where you need to improve your teaching strategies and instructional methods. As we all know, kids are super honest. If they don't like something, they will surely tell you about that. So what's next? I'm going to put this into practice. We are just getting ready to start the last quarter for the year. I know, it's really hard to believe. So I thought I would, instead of waiting until next year, I'm going to start it this year. And if you'd like to join me, jump in. And if you're already doing this, would you mind maybe sharing in the discussion the experiences that you have and maybe some tips? And then check back at the end of the school year. I'm going to share how this is going for me, and I will share your comments at the end of the webinar. So you can send me messages and let me know, and I'll try to incorporate all that into the presentation. So hopefully that helps. I think it's going to be interesting trying this idea out, and I hope you guys will join me in this adventure. And make sure that you post to the discussions, and then join me for the next topic where I'm going to be talking about technology in the art room. All right, it was good seeing you guys. Have a great evening. Bye.